Hey guys, Josh from TrailBuilt here with Zach. Zach works with us at the office and we just got done filming his new Nissan Frontier. So make sure and check out that video that we just posted. We do a nice breakdown. We do some off-roading with it, some mild off-roading, but still very capable machine. So definitely check out that video. And today what we're gonna do is we're gonna check out Zach's new rough country rooftop tent that he just got maybe a few weeks ago, a month ago, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna, so it's not used a couple times already, but we're basically gonna break it down, show you guys what rough country has to offer for the rooftop tents that we have right on our website at TrailBuilt. And these things are super cool. I haven't had a chance to actually see one myself, but I did a bunch of research, checked out their features and benefits, and it sounds like they have some really cool stuff going on with these. So pretty excited to check them out today. And not to mention, they have a really good price point too. They're on our website for $1,350. So they get into a nice rooftop tent that offers those features and benefits that they do for $1,350 is a pretty good deal. So anyways, we're gonna show you guys how this thing opens up, check it out, show you how much room it has in it and how easy it is to pack back down and go through some of that with you. So if you are looking for a rooftop tent, definitely keep rough country at the front of your mind. So with all of that said, Zach, should we go ahead and check this thing out?
Rock and roll, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Check it out.
So that was not bad at all. It was pretty simple, pretty fast. We went through it pretty quick. It's designed and obviously made to be simple to set up, fast to set up. And I do like this ladder design. Off camera, we were just talking about different types of ladders, and some of them they're telescoping or telescopic, and they kind of retract up within itself, and then they have little release buttons, and those can kind of be clunky and heavy, and they can get stuck when you're trying to collapse them. But this thing just kind of slides right out, hits the ground, and kind of like what you were saying, there's almost like it's spring loaded. So once you release it, it hits the ground, locks in place, boom, good to go.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty cool feature as well. So then, Zach, as far as your experience with setting it up and already staying in it a couple of times, do you feel it has plenty of room? It's simple to set up, and just some of those, because we want things to be efficient, simplistic, and everything. So I guess with your experience, is that sort of, I guess if you can walk us through just kind of your experience with it.
Yeah, I think a couple biggest things for me personally, like in the past when you go tenting, for me it's always like death by a thousand cuts. You got to do 40 freaking things to set this tent up. You're spending half an hour setting it up, whatever. And if it's just you, like even if you're going with buds, they're not helping you. It's just me. I got to set my tent up. See you guys in a half hour. Like I can put all the stupid stakes in the ground, like whatever. And I hate that sort of thing.
Right.
So I can tell, like, this thing just seems to do a lot of little things right. Like you mentioned the ladder, as opposed to having a ton of adjustment points, it has like 3. So it covers like probably the majority of the range that you'd want it to, where it already knows where it wants to go. So you pull the thing out, you just drop it, it clicks into place, and you're done with the ladder. It takes 3 seconds. A lot of it is just, like I was telling you, for a one-man operation, a lot of it is just built well for that. I mean, as far as space, I'm 6'2", 180 pounds, so I fit plenty of room lengthwise and whatever up inside of it. It would easily fit 2 of me, someone bigger than me, maybe up to like 6'4". You'd have quite a bit of room in there.
Nice.
That was my main concern when I was looking at these, was how, like, I don't want to have to bend my knees to sleep in it.
Right.
But no, they did a lot of things like that very well, and there's a nice little light inside, so that's cool.
Feels like it's sturdy enough when you're up there. It doesn't feel rickety. It doesn't feel like it's underbuilt or anything like that. Like, it's solid. It's sturdy. You get up there, you're not going to worry about this thing collapsing on you or any kind of thing like that, right?
Yeah. I think the only thing I will say that I actually didn't take into account the first time I deployed this thing was make sure your truck's level. I was so just kind of caught up and kind of excited to do it. I got it all set up. I climbed in there and I was like that
Yeah.
or whatever. So that's the only thing I think to consider is just make sure your truck's level. But yeah, the thing's as solid as it can get.
Cool.
No problem.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it already comes built in with the external rainfly tent.
Yep.
Or cover, I should say. So that's all ready to go, already set up. But you can remove that if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be up there, but you never know if it's going to rain or whatever the case may be. Plus, it probably helps a little bit with the sun, keeping the sun kind of off of it.
Yep.
But it's super simple. There's 2, 4, 6, and then 8. So the 8 rods.
Yep.
So you unfold the tent, throw the ladder down. You have your 8 rods that hold the rain fly up, and really that's it.
About it.
You know,
Yeah.
other than installing it the first time, obviously, and then compacting it out or closing it up, and then the next thing is just unfolding it, putting in the rods,
Yeah.
ladder, and that's it.
I mean, shooting the breeze with you, it took all of 6 minutes,
Yeah.
and we were kind of just BSing while we were doing it. So as far as speed's concerned, like I keep saying, if you're a one-man operation, like it just screams it's made for you.
Cool.
And pulling it back up, once the rods are out, you literally just grab the ladder and just boop, and that's it.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome. Yeah, super cool, super convenient.
I will say I have a little bit of advantage being taller for some reaches, but even without that, I mean, if you have something to stand on around your truck or whatever, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, not that big a deal.
Very cool. And now, so that's exterior setting up, easy, efficient, effective. Inside, now there's a 2-inch thick memory foam pad in there that's surrounded by a
It's got a little cover on
little
it.
cover.
Yep.
Yep. So comfortable. Does it sleep good in there?
Yeah, for what it is, right? You know what you're getting into. Even if you sleep on the ground in a tent versus sleeping in that, I'd say it's a little more comfortable than that. Unless you got some just badass mattress to put in your tent.
Yeah.
It's definitely usable, is what I'll say.
Okay. Now more of a like to sleep in the vehicle kind of guy, you know, because I don't like bears and animals and shit sneaking around my tent at night. But
That's the other thing, real quick, if you don't mind. That's what I think the biggest reason why I looked at this, because I also don't want to be like critters.
Yeah.
You're up away from the majority, right? If something really wants to get at you, it doesn't really matter. But
right.
I really liked that I was 7 feet off the ground, like
Yeah, and I think that would be a nice, a cool thing because of the vantage point. Like right here in Tiger Town, we got this campsite here that's overlooking the river, and it's a really nice, kind of a surreal campsite, and you got the vantage point of the rooftop tent being up in the air like this. I mean, it's a good 6.5 feet or so up in the air, so you're kind of looking down over everything, and it's that tree fort feeling I think that gives
That's what it is.
the rooftop tents that really, like, I don't know what the word is exactly that I'm looking for.
It's almost nostalgic, dude.
Yeah.
It's just it's a fun place to be because this one also has skylights.
Oh, really?
You unzip the skylights and you could just hang out in there, and like you said it for me, it's like you have a tree fort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that for me, that's the appeal of the rooftop tent, is just being able to sit up in the air and have that vantage point over whatever it is.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we can go to some pretty cool areas, or there's some pretty awesome areas that you're already up high, but then to be even higher up in a rooftop tent is just a cool feeling overall. But that, and depending on where you're camping, you could have some potential predators in the area, bears, cougars, whatever it may be. So at least having yourself up in a more safe, off the ground situation, it is a good comfort feeling,
Yep.
when you're trying to sleep at night. I mean, me personally, I have my concealed carry, and I have it right
Same,
next to me and ready to go.
Sure.
When I'm in a well, any tent, for example, but
Yep.
like I just have that sense of caution that something's going to get into my tent, and not that we really have to worry about it too much around here, but there are bears around here.
Yeah.
So it's still a peace of mind being up in a rooftop tent. So
Totally.
something to keep in mind too, that when you're loading more weight higher up in a vehicle, it does sort of change the stability of the vehicle, especially at highway speed. So just keep that in mind, that once you start putting more weight higher up in your vehicle, like a rooftop tent, that you are going to feel some different dynamic changes with that vehicle and the control of it, especially at higher speed. So just something to be subconscious of when you're driving, not to make super evasive maneuvers super quick. Not that putting a rooftop tent on your vehicle is going to make it flip over if you try turning a corner too fast or anything, but just something to be aware of.
Yeah.
But
Extra consideration.
yeah, but this thing, I mean, as far as all that goes, what this all comes with is it's a whole complete setup. You have your mattress pad inside, you have your light, which is really nice and convenient. And Zach just has his hooked up to a little power battery bank system, little battery bank or battery charger, whatever it is.
Just a little handheld portable guy.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really just an LED strip light, so it doesn't take a lot of power. So that's nice. But mattress pad. Comes with the rain fly, comes with all your hardware needed to mount the tent, rack or bed rack or whatever it is, and the ladder and the not carrying case, but the case that goes around the tent for when you're traveling.
Cover.
So pretty much everything you need, except for your blankets and pillows. But
pretty much, man.
Other than that,
super simple hand tools and one friend if you can find one. That's all you need, man.
So let me ask you this. This is a good question. I think a lot of people are probably thinking is for the price, $1,350 for the rough country rooftop tent. Definitely good value, good quality. There's no doubt about it. But do you feel, and I know this is a subjective question, and this can be different for 100 people, and it can be different 200 different ways. But do you feel like a rooftop tent is a good way to go in comparison to ground tenting if everything's in your favor?
Right. I would say, since it is so subjective, if you're like me, and what I mean by that is anything that's convenient, fast, well engineered are three big pluses for me. And I'm also typically by myself, as far as I don't need to set up camp for 6 people. It's usually if I just want to go somewhere, it's just me. So if you value the things I just mentioned, and sometimes you are just kind of a one-man deal, this is a no-brainer, man. And the entry-level price point for something, that gives you everything you just outlined. This is my first experience, but it's been a great one. So I don't really have any bad things to say.
Yeah.
I just don't.
So one thing we got to do yet is, I want to have you jump up in this thing, and I want to show everybody, what it looks like on the inside and just how much space there is in there. And let's check this thing out.
Yeah, right on. You do that.
Wow, this is nice and roomy.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're just like it feels like you said, like a fort.
Yeah.
I could just hang out up here. You got like a laptop, whatever, watch a movie in here, and great view of the river. Like you said, vantage point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the skylight. So
skylight.
That unzips there. Skylight, and then you have obviously the light.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is pretty nice though.
It's not bad. I just ran this thing with a pillow and I was fine, but
yeah,
plenty of space if you want to throw your own shindig on here.
Yeah, it's really roomy. It looks a lot bigger once you're up here than it does looking at it from the ground. But yeah, I don't know if it's just a perception thing, but it's huge. I mean, it really is a lot of space up in here.
That was my first thought. Like I said before, I'm 6'2". I could easily be 6'4", 6'5",
right,
and still be having a good time in here.
Yeah. Zach,
yo,
you have a podcast.
I do.
Yeah. What's the name of your
guy?
Yeah. What's the name of your podcast?
Two Guys and Coffee.
Two Guys and Coffee. That's why I asked. You guys got to check it out. Two Guys and Coffee. It's actually really good, really entertaining, and really engaging. But I got a new podcast series for you.
What's that?
Two Guys in a Tent.
Two Guys in a Tent? We can do an episode from the tent.
That's just possible.
Kidding. We can do that.
Metal frame. So at least there, and so you have an inside metal frame, and then you also have the outside metal frame. So
yeah,
it's obviously pretty sturdy that way. And it doesn't, it seems like the fabric is pretty taut, pretty tight, so it doesn't seem like it's gonna really flap around all that much.
They've got these like seatbelt material runners that run the length as well, so like when you're pushing on a tent like that, it hits these supports so that, for example, also like if it were to rain a ton and the rain fly doesn't do a great job for whatever reason, no, there's not a ton of room where this thing's gonna droop down, or it's solid. I mean, overall.
Yeah. I like this. It's pretty sweet.
And they do give you, for this thing here, for your light, I chose to run it off a power bank. They give you like 5 different sets of adapters where you could just, there's a little space you can run it outside the tent into your truck. If you want to use like the cigarette outlet type, if you've got power outlets or whatever like this has, you can just plug it in. Like, or USB, which is what I'm using with the power bank. So
Cool.
they give you everything you need to get
Plenty
going.
versatile, plenty modular.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah, I really like this. I think you guys that are watching, I think that, you know, if a rooftop tent is in your possible future, that, you know, don't shy away from, you know, something like the rough country tent that may be, you know, half the price of some of the other tents out there, because, you know, looking at this thing, inspecting it, going around and just checking it out and talking to Zach, you know, there's plenty of value for the money for the rough country rooftop tent that, you know, I think it would definitely be worth it.
It'll get you out there with very little hassle. That's what I can say so far.
Yeah.
It's a great option.
Very cool. Well, very awesome. Well, I think we show you guys how easy it is to pack down, and you know, for sure, definitely let us know in the comments if you guys, you know, if you already have a rooftop tent. It'd be really great to hear some of the advantages and some of the things that you guys like about it, or even if you're considering a rooftop tent and maybe there's some additional questions, definitely make sure and drop those in the comments below. And guys, remember that you can find these rough country rooftop tents and a bunch of overlanding equipment and gear right on our website. It's TrailBuilt Off-Road. Plus, we'll have a link posted in the description below. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this thing packed down. This is Zach. Don't forget to check out his podcast. It's Two Guys and Coffee. It's pretty awesome. Check it out. And other than that, we definitely appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from TrailBuilt, and we'll see you guys out on the trails.